Hi, cat. Come and get some mango, baby.
One, two, 1, 2, 3. Self-awareness is a superpower. My name is KathyLaDonna. Welcome to Soul and Vibration. I hope the free thinkers are doing well. And if you're not doing well, I'm happy to remind you that you are the most powerful person that you know. You are the most powerful person that you know because only you can create your reality. Hey guys, today is Tuesday, April 16th, and the energies in the day adds up and reduce to number 1 vibration. If today is your birthday, happy birthday. So when it comes to the spirit animal, we have the unicorn energy, and the way the unicorn energy comes out is unicorn energy is so fitting with the energies in the day adding up and reducing to number 1 vibration. The number 1 deals with new ideas. It deals with the beginning. The number 1 could deal with an idea so fresh to the point that, you know, we haven't acted on it. It's just in our minds. And I feel like an idea could turn into a ghost that haunts a person. And the way how the unicorn energy came out, it brings me to an idea that haunts a person. I feel like for some of you today, something might come up where your idea is haunting you. Certain aspects of your idea is haunting you. And I feel like an idea will haunt a person because it's like, the idea to me is like a dream or a passion that feels like an ex. It's like, whenever you get with this person, you know, or it could feel like an ex, but yeah, whenever you get with this person, it's like you guys feel like this is so meant to be, but for whatever reason, you guys can't move forward because of insecurities that cause you to not be able to move forward. But when you're together, everything just feels so right. And when you think about them, you know, it's like, damn, you think about what things could be, but every time you try, you just can't get anywhere. And it's just so exhausting because you can't see yourself anywhere else. And I don't think anybody should ever have that feeling about another person to where it's like, you know, they're haunting you. So that's an interesting example that I use. But I use that example because to me, that dream and you, or that idea and you, it's like a relationship between you and this thing in your mind that could actually turn into something tangible, but it would require you being confident enough to recognize what's stopping you guys from moving forward or what's stopping you from taking it to the next level. At this point, it's not even so much about the dream, but it's more about being honest about your insecurities and limiting beliefs pertaining to yourself as to why you're afraid to take this thing to the next level. In some situations, some of us are so insecure and our dreams don't complete us the way how becoming a lawyer or a doctor would complete us. But, you know, to become a lawyer or a doctor, there's not enough interest there for you to even get an education in that. You'll find yourself wasting all your money because you'll have a hard time passing your classes because of the lack of interest. But the path that you want to take on, maybe based on your family background and how you were raised, you know, people don't respect that path. So because people don't respect that path, you haven't been given permission to respect that path. But at the same time, you love it. So it's almost like having a partner that your family think that they're lower class than where you're from, but you just love them. But at the same time, you can't pick them. So you have a secret relationship with them because people don't approve of them, you know, but this secret relationship that you have, like it starts to become toxic because they start to resent you and then you start to resent them. And it's like, it's a very unhappy, problematic situation. You know, so to me, having balls, being confident is required on your part So something's coming up today about, you know, being brave about this dream, about this idea that you're in the closet about, that you're hiding, that you're being secretive about when it comes to certain people, or you low-key are looking for people to give you permission and tell you that you should go for it. I think of the person who is always telling everybody, you know, encouraging everybody because low-key they want others to encourage them about their idea or their interest. But when they bring it up, they don't even fully bring it up. They bring up crumbs of it. So it's like people can't even get the full idea of your interest in order to encourage you in the first place. But the book Mastery by Robert Greene really helped me with this. Like, Mastery was such a good book, and it took me forever to read that book. It took me years to read that book. But now when I sit back, I realize that that wasn't a book that I needed to run through, because the way how I read that book, it was deep. Like, I started reading that book when I was living in Florida. I moved to Cali with the book, and I finished reading it when I moved back from Cali. But it needed to go that way, because there are times when I pick up the book and I read a chapter, and that chapter is reflecting exactly what's happening in my life at the moment. So it's like I read a part, and then so it's almost like two-part, where it's like theory and lab. And theory is me reading a certain part, and then lab is my life coming together and creating a story, or even intense emotional experiences that helps me to really understand what's being said, because I'm experiencing it firsthand. But with the energies in today, it brings me to your thoughts, your ideas, your aspirations. And with the moon in Leo, the moon is in a place where we're nurtured at the thought of putting ourselves out there. And that's squaring Mercury, North Node, Venus, Chiron, and the sun in Aries. So the square being made to the moon at the moment is, the moon is in a place where it's like, I think of moon in Leo, it's like, come on, you could do it. You know, be courageous. You got this. But then with what's happening in Aries, we could be so consumed by our story to the point where it's like, so moon in Leo is like that friend that's like, you got this, you could do it. And with the stellium in Aries, it's like, but I'm not good enough, but this, but that, but blah, blah, blah. So it's like, when I look at the stellium in Aries, it's like, with Mercury retrograde there, it's like, if a person is so stuck in their victim consciousness mindset, there is nothing anyone can do to get them out, and they will turn you into a liar trying to encourage them. I remember I used to be such a trip in the salon, where like I could tell when someone was fishing for a compliment. And say the client might say something crazy like, I don't know, I'm just gonna give a random example because I can't think of anything specific, but I would do this from time to time just to be a jerk, because it would be funny to me. Because I was trying to prove a point too, and me and them would eventually get into a conversation. But like, say for example, a person says, oh my God, like, my head is so huge. I'll be like, yeah, girl, it is. And they'll look at me like, that's not what you were supposed to say. Like, that's not your role. That's not what you were supposed to say. And I'll laugh and say, look at you fishing for a compliment. And, you know, we'll get into a conversation or whatever. But it's like, that's what this energy is reminding me of, the stellium in Aries. It's like a person is so into their story and so into what it is that they're going through, to the point that like, they might be fishing for compliments. And with the square to the moon, it's like, you go fishing for a compliment with me, and I might mess around and agree with you, even though I don't agree with you, but I'll agree with you because I know that you're fishing. So that's what I'm getting with that aspect. And also still squaring Pluto in Aquarius. So, you know, we're so in our head, in our stories, that it makes it hard to connect with others. Or I think of like, you know, a person feeling like they're not enough to link with their peers, people that they would network with, collaborate with in their work communities. Like, you know, I think of someone being in Hollywood, but feeling insecure to hang out with other people in Hollywood. That's how I see the square between Pluto in Aquarius and the stellium in Aries. And then the moon opposing Pluto in Aquarius, moon in Leo, Pluto in Aquarius, the opposition to the moon. So ever since Pluto went into Aquarius, like, and it's gonna be there for a while. And I remember when I did either the Leo full moon video or something, one of them, is like I spoke passionately about how a lot of situations will come up in our world where people will use Aquarian type of situations in order to force people to get with the program. But the person, a lot of the times there's a person at the head of the Aquarian type situation who's really being selfish, but they're masking their selfishness behind humanitarianism, behind a good deed. So this is where, say there is a disaster, something happens, and someone is at the head of everything and they want to look like, you know, so perfect, look what I did, to where they're coming up with things as they go and assigning responsibility to other people that they didn't even sign up for. And then, you know, you look like a asshole, you look like a bad person if you don't go along. So with the Pluto opposed the moon, and even just Pluto and Aquarian energy, I feel like a lot of stuff like this will come up where certain relationships will be tested. Certain relationships will be tested. Certain relationships with certain people that you may have looked up to, you know, will be tested, as they might fall into that role and they're hiding under they're hiding under the disguise of Aquarian energy. And to me, that hiding under the disguise of the humanitarian or the person doing the good deed, and low key like shining under that disguise, gaining attention under that. Because with Pluto and Aquarian energy, like, instead of, you know, say Leo energy where people were shining just because, like, look at me, like, just because, you know, my dress is nice or whatever. With the Aquarian energy, it's more like, you know, look at me because of what I've done. Look at me because of who I'm helping. To the point where people will help just for the sake of attention. They're not genuinely helping. So I feel like with Pluto and Aquarian energy, it's like we'll see a lot of that. And some of us will get suckered into situations within our own families and communities where, you know, someone else is making up the rules as they go, and you'll look like an a-hole to where the whole group will group up against you if you don't go with the program, because you just look so heartless to not just go with what they say. But with the tarot, we have the 5 of Pentacles in the upright position, and the number 5 deals with sudden and unexpected change. So with this energy, there, you know, it reflects some sudden and unexpected change in stability, or some sudden and unexpected change in finances. And I think about how sometimes we have to go through those moments where things happen suddenly and unexpectedly to force us to do better. And when I say do better, meaning do better as in do better than your situation as far as what's in alignment with you, and as far as what makes you happy. But with the way the unicorn energy came out, it's almost like not having faith. So I think of like a person being very practical, very, very practical in their thinking, very traditional, very cyclical in their thinking, meaning repetitive thinking and not trusting their own imagination, intuition, or taking a chance on themselves or anything, just no trust in oneself. And, you know, something sudden and unexpected happens that feels like a brain squeeze, where it's like, you know, could feel, cause a person to feel a panic attack or just feel overwhelmed as far as, oh my God, this change is happening. But it's like your imagination is what's needed in order to tap into this energy. Imagination is what's needed to tap into this energy. And also too, the power of what's happening in Aries with the stellium retrograde and all that's happening. Instead of allowing that to defeat you and to cause you to look down on yourself, you know, and feel like you're not enough, instead reflect on moments where you've risen, like, you know, like the phoenix. And if you've done it before, you'll do it again. And right now is just a matter of time before you rise again. So I was watching something on YouTube. I don't remember the name of the young lady's channel, but she said something and it really clicked for me, but she didn't say anything new, which goes to show that, you know, when you're ready to hear certain things, you're ready. She said something about, I guess she was like quantum reality, and it's like, you know, what'd she say? She said something about, basically like you are living in the reality of, like, when you think of the ideal version of yourself and where you are now, like you're in both realities. Like she said something to that, but it just, I don't know, a light bulb went off in my head. And then I had another moment where I was doing a pick a card reading a few days ago for YouTube and Patreon. I don't remember in which one I was speaking on it. I think it was for YouTube, but in the pick a card reading, I was speaking about manifestation. And I was talking about how I had an experience when I lived in Cali and I first did remote writing. And I was laying in my bed and I was doing remote writing, and I saw this home that I would be living in. And in the image, I was standing right out front and looking at the shape of it and everything. And I was seeing right in through the glass door window, and I was seeing the living room area, the kitchen area. Like I was seeing parts of it, but parts of it felt like it was missing and I couldn't explain it. So when I was in Cali, before I made up my mind that I was moving back to Florida, I was looking for a place to live. And I thought that that's where I'm going to be living next. So I was looking for that place as I was looking. And then finally I made up my mind, like, you know what? I want to come back home to Florida. Came back home to Florida at least 2 years after me doing the remote writing. I moved into that exact place to the point that I was creeped out, that I was in that moment seeing the future of where I would be living. But it clicked for me during the pick a card reading. And people say it all the time, but people say a lot of things and it doesn't matter what they say until it clicks for you at the right time. I guess, you know, the timing, everything plays a part with how things play. So I realized that from the moment I saw that vision, the reality was already complete. And it took 2 years for me to get to that, get to that place. And within the span of the 2 years, people probably moved in, people probably moved out, who knows? But once I saw it in my mind, like that was it. I was on my way there. So it clicked for me now where it's like, I don't need to be impatient about what's for me because it's coming. And I think about how some of us are manifesting certain things. And it's like, say what it is that you're manifesting is going to take you 5 years to get to that point, but you don't know that. But maybe some things need to happen in order for you to be prepared for that thing. Or maybe that thing is yours, but it's not vacant yet. It's not prepared for you yet because whoever is there, whatever is there needs to go through what needs to get out or whatever. And it's like, imagine us wanting to skip steps or skip our present moment. So we skip our present moment and we jump to the other reality, but jumping to the other reality might mean that you just throw away 5 years. You got to throw away 5 years to hurry up and jump there. Or not even just throw away 5 years. You miss out on certain experience. So when you get up, you jump there, you end up losing it because you weren't even prepared to get there. So for me, it's like now something has happened in me, and I love this whole Mercury retrograde eclipse season that we're in because I find it to be so powerful. I feel so optimistic about it. I feel so optimistic about something. I don't know what it is, but I just feel it. But now I realize it's like once I have a clear vision of myself or something about me, like it's already happened. It's already happened. Like it's already happened, and it's just a matter of time. So it's like the minute I have the clear vision, it's like this thing has been given birth to. And then it's just a matter of time for these two realities to come and line up with each other. So it's like the minute you have the clear vision, it's there. And it's just a matter of time for things to line up. But I've learned to be patient with myself now about waiting for that thing to come, because, you know, what do we want to do? Hurry up and get to the future so that we could pretty much croak? You know what I mean? It's like, enjoy the moments as we get there. I remember when I wanted certain things so bad, and then I got those things, and it's like, okay, what's next? And it's like, in the moment of wanting those things so bad, I made the present moment my enemy. So I wasn't able to enjoy it. So by the time I got to that thing, I missed out on so much of my life, making an enemy out of the present moment. With the unicorn energy coming out the way it did, it brings me to like allowing your imagination to fire, allowing your imagination to dream big. With the energies in the day adding up to the number one energy, you know, dream big. Allow yourself to dream big. A lot of great ideas will come up for you today. And I love how the moon is positively aspecting Mars conjunct Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. So the moon is in Leo, so our inner world is courageous, and we are reflecting on our dreams. We're seeing how we can make them happen. And I love how it also speaks positively to North Node. North Node conjuncts Venus in Aries. And even, yeah, North Node conjuncts Venus in Aries. And to me, that's like, so it's like weird, not weird, but there's a part of the inner world that, you know, is speaking to Chiron conjunct Mercury and the sun in Aries, and it's like we're stuck on our story and there's nothing that could pull us up out of it. But then there's also a positive aspect being made to the moon by what's happening in Aries that is positively looking at our situation. So it's like we're thinking about something in a positive light to a certain extent, and then there's another part of us that's like you know, afraid to really embrace like the truth of how something makes us feel, because it'll require some kind of an action of us. And sometimes it's easier to deny ourselves of a thing, or come up with reasons why we shouldn't want what we want. Because if we come up with reasons why we should, then it's going to require us to take action, and that's terrifying. So it's easier to just come up with reasons why this is not a good idea, why, you know, this or that is a bad idea. But some sudden and unexpected change is happening that forces us to be reflective today. And we are reflective, but we're reflective on our status, our titles, and the things that we own. But at the same time, as we're reflecting on those things, allow inspiration to guide you as far as what's next. You know, act on inspired thoughts and not thoughts or ideas that stem from fear. So instead of thinking, oh, how can I make money? I'm afraid, blah, blah, blah. You know, instead think of, what do I enjoy doing? It's different now if you have responsibilities and bills to pay and people to take care of, or yourself to take care of. Then you got to go out and get a job and just do what you got to do to create some security for yourself and a place to lay your head. And once you've done that, you know, then you might have to have another full-time job for a while until it grows into something sustainable. But, you know, once your needs are already met and you're secure, you know, instead focus on your inspiration. Like, what are you inspired to do? You know, allow your inspiration to guide you as far as what's next. It was such a pleasure sharing this message with you. Hey guys, I want to share with you 7 benefits of getting a numerology natal chart awareness coaching session. The first one is understanding your internal programming. The second one is becoming more clear about your purpose and passion. The third is setting goals for success. The fourth is awareness of strength and areas of improvement. And the fourth one was foundational for me, because whenever you're aware of your weaknesses, no one can use them against you. And when you're aware of your strengths, that makes you unstoppable. And that is why I say self-awareness is a superpower. The fifth benefit is removing obstacles. We first have to become aware of a thing in order to remove it in the first place. The sixth benefit is understanding relationship dynamics. We don't have to change the people in our lives. We have to become aware of ourselves and start from there, and everything changes. And the seventh benefit is upcoming transits, if that's something that you would like to look into because you're planning for something or you just want to be aware. So if you're interested in booking a numerology natal chart awareness coaching session or learning more about it, the link to book or the link to send me an email for questions are both within the description box below. If you'd like to check out my Patreon, where I share exclusive content, and also to become a part of the meetup group, which is my favorite thing on Patreon, the link to check out what's happening on Patreon is in the description box below. Please let me know you're here with me by dropping me a red heart in the comment box below. I would love to hear from you and look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Love yourself as if your life depended on it, because it does. Take care of yourself, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.